Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander viewers are advised that the following program may contain images and voices of people who have died.
This is the Aboriginal land of Kakadu in Australia's Northern Territory. At 20,000 square kilometres, it's Australia's largest terrestrial national park, one of our greatest natural treasures. Rangers work with traditional owners to try and hold on to its magic. It's a land of wild extremes. Scorching hot one season, torrential rain the next. Floods, fire, feral animals, and deadly saltwater crocodiles are just a few of the challenges they face.
We'll get a helicopter and shoot this animal from the air.
It's a frontier community.
If something goes wrong, you're on your own.
If worst thing comes to worst, I think the main thing you can do is swim to a tree.
Where man meets wild.
There's too much current, they can get washed off.
And nature calls the shots. This is Kakadu. February in Kakadu, or the Aboriginal season of Gudjuk. The violent thunderstorms of the build-up have been replaced by a dense blanket of low cloud that hangs heavy over the top end. The mist swirls and downpours can last for weeks. Rivulets join to form streams. Streams become rivers, and the river cascades over the escarpments. The wetlands fill up and spill out onto the forest floor. A few months ago, the land here was burning. Now, it's transformed. Insect populations explode. The wetlands are now home to over 250 bird species. Some have travelled across the world to feast in this watery wonderland. Water is the lifeblood of Kakadu. At Yellow Water, tourists come to see the wildlife in one of Kakadu's most beautiful billabongs. But just metres away, Ranger Kathy Wilson is dealing with a deadly problem.
We've had a report that there's a buffalo out on the floodplain, but I just want to have a check to see if he's out here now. Buffalo have been known to kill people. You can smell that smell of large animal, the smell of the buffaloes. Been camping around here. You just have to be wary because it could be just sitting under any of these trees here. Oh, there he is, right in front of us. In the back of your mind, have an escape route planned, which way you're going to run, because the buffalo's not an animal that you stand up to. A lot of our visitors from interstate and overseas, they've got no idea about the potential of these buffaloes. Yeah, they're massive animals full of muscle with very sharp horns, and they've been known to kill people before in the territory. What we'll do is get a helicopter and shoot this animal from the air. It's too risky to try and shoot the buffalo from on the ground here because we've got people in boats on the waterways, and if we do shoot the animal and it's wounded, it could cause havoc for the whole area here.
Water buffaloes were brought to the territory in the 1820s as stock animals and soon established wild populations. Their numbers grew rapidly. By the 70s, great herds of the animals were starving and the wetlands were almost completely destroyed. An intense helicopter culling program in the 1980s brought their numbers under control. Rangers continue the work to keep the population down. Today's target is more a matter of public safety. Bull buffaloes are extremely aggressive and will charge anyone that approaches them.
You want to get ready? Yeah, look, here's one up here, mate.
Get up, he's down.
Josh, it's all good to open now, over?
Yeah, roger that. I'll pack these drones up and head that way now, over.
With the area safe, the rangers move in to butcher the animal. Feral animals don't go to waste in Kakadu, and for the locals, it's a windfall. The meat from the buffalo is distributed to the traditional owners.
What have you got there, Brett?
I'll have the chicken.
Yes, not fast.
Go.
Yeah.
Keep them going another couple of months.
Yeah.
1 week is...
Over in the East Alligator district, Ranger Matt Dunn is heading out to check on river levels. His district can be cut off for months during the wet.
The wet season can become a bit of a challenge. We've got the S-bends which come up and flood and basically lock us in for the wet season. We've got Carl's Crossing when that water comes up, and then that's when we'll get people starting to get washed off the crossing. Big risk of crocodiles in that river as well.
Kale's Crossing is the only road from Kakadu into Arnhem Land. The locals there can be cut off for months. As water levels start to rise, people rush to get their cars out. Sometimes they push their luck too far.
Report just in, disaster at Kale.
Kale's claims another victim.
One of the biggest issues we've got in terms of visitor safety is crossing at the wrong time, wrong vehicles. But the other thing too is you can clearly see the croc risk is here, it's evident. I was trying to get him and he wasn't stopping. A big vehicle like that with such a big surface area, there's too much current, they can get washed off. You see the crocs working here. People put themselves in that situation, inevitably someone's going to get washed off.
The crocs are happy feeding on fish, at least for now. Fish populations are booming as the wet season triggers breeding. The lowland forests are a nursery for baby fish. Larger species like the Saratoga and barramundi move out of the rivers to feed on schools of fish. Fisheries biologists Thor Saunders and Quinn Alsop are on their annual fish survey. They monitor fish stocks around the Northern Territory in order to set quotas.
All right.
But you don't want to get too close to this boat. The technique is called electrofishing, but surprisingly, it's less traumatic for the fish than traditional netting.
Well, they're putting a lot of voltage, a lot of amps in the water via the generator, and the box we can control the voltage and the current. And it temporarily stuns the fish. So as they're stunned, we just scoop them up, put them in the holding tank at the front, measure them, identify them, and we can release them and move on.
While it looks like they're a fair bit stressed, as soon as you take them out of that field, they recover, and you could actually see quite a few fish were swimming off as soon as the boat passed. So it's a pretty non-invasive form of surveying the fish stocks. One of our major charters is to look after barramundi, probably the most iconic species up here. They're a very important commercial and recreational species. What we do is count the numbers of juveniles each year, and that gives us an indication of how successful the wet season was.
The catch in this billabong is a good one. Numbers of juvenile fish are usually high in Kakadu's waterways.
Being a fish biologist, it's great seeing this sort of level of health in an ecosystem. Just that little bit of rain has just caused that there's so many species around, and it's quite phenomenal seeing that much life. We see the importance of, you know, the rainfall that comes down from the top of the river systems down to the mouth are extremely important in connecting all the species and ensuring their populations survive. Having areas like Kakadu are going to be extremely important, and maintaining this type of biodiversity is just nothing that's really interrupting that natural flow.
The monsoon has also kick-started life on the floodplains. The airboat crew are heading out into the most remote parts of the park. They're on the search for invasive species. Ranger Buck has been protecting the floodplains for 28 years, and the wetlands would be a very different place today if the work hadn't been done.
It was very exciting in those early days. It was unknown territory, and these particular wetlands are breeding areas for wildlife. So we just have to protect them.
Today, the patrol will cover around 500 square kilometres of wetland.
You have to be careful when you're in deep water. Very easy to tip over. I hope the boat never sinks. A lot of crocodiles in Kakadu. If worse did come to worse, I think the main thing you could do is swim to a tree. And hopefully you got your sat phone with you. Just have to hope for it. Looks like something out in the water there. Might be a couple of animals out there, I think. A couple of buffalo out in the middle of the swamp here. We'll go over and have a look at them anyway, Fred. When I first came to Kakadu, there was thousands of buffalo. Those particular buffalo, they had everything grazed, and by that they were actually draining the floodplains much quicker, and they break down the natural levees of tidal areas that come right up towards the floodplains, and it was allowing salt water to actually access some of our paperbark swamps. They are an introduced species and their numbers can build up very quickly. The job has to be done to protect our wetlands.
It's not just feral animals that can destroy the wetlands of Kakadu. The worst threat comes from invasive plants.
We've got a couple of mimosa seedlings here. Most likely these plants here are from the mother plant that was over there we found about 2 years ago. If this program hadn't happened, we wouldn't be able to get here in an airboat even, there'd be that much mimosa. We would be surrounded by a thorny mass.
Mimosa has been the primary focus of the airboats from the beginning, and thanks to all the hard work, the wetlands have returned to a near pristine state.
Yeah, we're just looking at the jacana. It just looks like they're running on water, but they actually got wide feet and they can run across the floating vegetation underneath it. It's gone back to its eggs. Probably one of the prettiest eggs you can find. Sort of camouflage patterns on there. Little baby one, little baby jacana. He's trying to hide, poor thing.
The daily commute to the Green Office requires camping out on location. It's part of the job the blokes look forward to each wet season.
Your turn to cook tonight anyway. Was that lightning? Shit. Yeah, looks like we're going to get a bit of wet one again tonight. Yeah, no, it looks like a nice, good storm coming. It looks like we're going to cob it. I dare say it'll be already raining back down on the road, so... I don't know, Buck, what do you reckon? We're going to get hit by lightning or what? Yeah. Oh no, occasionally we get stuck in them and have to be rescued. We'll survive it.
For the last 6 months, Anne O'Day has been caring for an orphan wallaby. The time has come to set him free.
This is what it's all for. You raise them up to release them, not to keep them as pets. Doesn't mean you don't get attached, but I'm going to take him down to Violet's house, and Violet's a traditional owner from the central area of the park. She's got a good safe place away from the road, so it's much better.
It'll be a soft release for this Joey.
How are you?
He'll stay at Violet's place until he feels ready to leave.
I used to have a girl and a boy kangaroo. They come and knock my bedroom door, sleep with me in the bed. You know, when it's cold. Yeah, no, I love him.
We'll put him down and see what he thinks.
Yeah.
Untie your legs. Look. Any grass. You can't complain. It's a bit like paradise here, isn't it, Violet?
Yeah. What is his name?
Jade.
Jade.
Yeah. Yeah, looks like he's going to be happy here, I reckon. I'll be a little bit sad when I leave him here, but at least I know he's in a good place, and this is what it's all about, not me keeping him. He's not supposed to be a pet. It's a wild animal.
Orphaned animals stay under the watchful eye of carers until their natural instincts kick in. Even carnivores, like the quoll, who are tenacious and spirited from birth, without their mothers, need special love and attention. Sam Deegan has been looking after Jilly from when she was just a few weeks old. She is now 5 months old and growing stronger every day. Quolls are also known by the name native cat, but little Jilly behaves more like a puppy.
When I first had her, I thought she might not make it. She had dust in her eyes, she had sand in her mouth, really dehydrated. I got, so attached to her. She's pretty healthy now. It is always a good feeling to watch them grow up and watch them take off, release.
In a few weeks, Jilly will be released into the wild. She will join a group of quolls who have been trained to avoid feeding on cane toads. The toxic toad is the main reason the species is now critically endangered. Tegan Cremona has been following the population of quolls to see if their training has paid off.
The wet season can be a pretty tough time for the quolls because there's lots of hungry animals out there and there's lots of toads as well. So I'm really concerned about the future of this population.
The study is just starting to produce results. This year's offspring have now left home and are fending for themselves. If the species is to survive, the trained mothers need to have passed the toad aversion onto their young.
Oh, looks like we've got a quoll. Ah, she's gorgeous. She's one of the ones we've been following, one of the babies from last year. This is one of the ones that's important for the future. This is great. She's survived through the toughest time. There's toads around, so they're not eating them. There's living proof here. This is working. The incredible part of this is that these are wild animals. The fact that we've been able to teach them something, it's just incredible. It's a great success and there's just so much hope for these guys in the future. Cute little one.
The wet season rain has swollen the South Alligator River, and recreational fishermen from all over the country are here to fish the runoff. They're all chasing the legendary barramundi.
Oh, they might be on a fish,
Millions of baby fish are being washed off the floodplains and into the larger creeks. The predatory fish are here to greet them. Shark biologists Pete Kine and Grant Johnson are heading out to search for a very different predator. Not only are these rivers full of crocs, they're also teeming with sharks.
Yep. Yeah, we've got a shark, Grant. It's just holding on. That is a bull shark. Behaving as bull sharks do. They're aggressive little sharks, and they're the most common of the sharks that occur in rivers around the world. Sharp teeth, so keep away from the pointy end. I'll get this barra out. There's a barramunkle in the net here. Get them out quickly because they attract the crocodiles. Easy feed for the crocs.
No, it's not the easiest place to work with mud and crocodiles and lots of things trying to bite you. But yeah, no, it's exciting to look and see what's in there. And murky water hides a lot of things. Yeah.
Of around 400 species of sharks in the world, only 5 live in rivers, and 3 of those live in the South Alligator's murky waters.
We surveyed this site last year in a sort of scoping trip and found, which we previously didn't know about, the northern river shark and the spear-tooth shark. It's pretty exciting work. We're sort of, documenting species occurrence for the first time. Yeah, so you see, you just grabbed the line there. So that's the spear-tooth shark.
This is a juvenile spear-toothed shark. Mystery still surrounds the species. No one has ever seen an adult.
I don't know if they're just in part of the river that we haven't sampled in, or that our gear hasn't caught them yet. If they're offshore, but we just don't know. Tiny tissue sample for genetic analysis.
From other similar species of sharks, Pete knows the adult should be about 2.5 meters long. Hard to miss, but where they live is a question he's still trying to answer.
We wanted to conserve or manage the entire life cycle of these species. We really need to know where those adults are, where they're going. In case of the spear-tooth shark, we need to find one first. It's nice when they're released. You see that nice little kick-off means they're nice and healthy, so it hasn't been too traumatic for it.
Another one.
Excellent. We've captured 2 spear-tooth sharks so far. So, given the rarity of the species, that's actually not a bad day already. Oh, it looks like there's rain coming.
Yeah, it certainly cools things down a bit.
This is the best part about it, mate. Yeah.
It's amazing to think that in this day and age, there's still a large shark species out there, and no one has ever seen a fully grown adult. Like so many other creatures here, the sharks need the rivers, the floodplains, and the coastline to survive. Kakadu provides them with that safe place. Over the last few days, violent storms have hit the northern end of the park.
One went around last night, then it come back and really blew really hard for a while.
The airboat crew are coming to the end of their mission, but high winds and heavy rain have caused havoc in the area. Many trees have fallen, and the only road in is blocked. They're gonna need help if they want to get out.
Yeah, can you receive me, Con?
Go ahead, Fred.
That storm last night dropped a whole heap of trees on the road. It could be 50 trees down. Just wondering if you fellas could come up with chainsaws, work your way in.
Yeah, no worries. I'll organise a crew and we'll see if we can get through today, and otherwise it'll be tomorrow morning.
Righto, Khan. Thanks for that.
Yeah, because of the wet season, the ground becomes waterlogged. You get these good winds come through and it'll just knock down a stack of trees, and it's not a tree here and there, it's kilometres of trees down. It's a complete lottery as to how many you'll get. You could get up here and you might have 2 trees, or you could get up here and you've got 60, 70 trees down, and you can spend sort of 2 or 3 weeks just clearing the track, getting it open. So Freddie and Buck are stuck in there at the moment.
It's not long before they hit the first roadblock. They're in for some hard yakka.
If we get plenty of these things, it could be a very long day in the sun. Hang on.
Knowing they'll be waiting a while, Fred and Kelvin head out one last time. Buck stays back to pack up camp. In skilled hands, the airboats are the ultimate all-terrain vehicle. The 6-litre V8 engine can blast over water, through forests, even over dry land. The key is, don't get lost and don't get stuck. Airboats don't have reverse. But you can't plan for breakdowns.
Oh, we're just broken down a bit.
Yep. Basically all that's happened is got a blown relay.
Yeah, if we can't get this going, we'll have to call for a helicopter to come pick us up, because there's no way I'm walking out of here. It's crocodile-infested waters here.
We might actually spend the night here because we don't know if we're going to be rescued or not.
While they try to fix the airboat, the Rangers are still struggling to cut their way in. It's been a long day. 10 trees cleared and 5 kilometres to go.
This one's got a couple of issues. We've got another dead tree hanging up in top end of it here, so what I want to do is just try and give that a weak point so that when the whole thing does go, it'll drop and that will snap and that'll fall and I won't be there. That's the plan. Just like eating an elephant. One mouthful at a time.
For Fred and Calvin, the prospect of spending the night in the middle of a floodplain is not a great one. Not with the mozzies starting to bite.
See, Fred, if you had the right equipment and you had the right tools, we'd have been gone by now.
What do you think I'm doing? We got the right equipment.
Fred just got electric shock.
It's a bit of a shame job. If helicopter has to come and pick us up, you have to call up on the radio so the whole park will know that we're broken down. Only do that at the last resort, if we've got no other option.
Come on, Fred, have you got it going yet? No, it's about time, you know, we get roasting out here. You know?
Long, it's only been bloody 10 minutes. But yeah, no, this will get us back. We're away now, so we can keep on going.
Thanks to Fred's handiwork, they have averted the shame job, and no one will ever know they broke down.
We're nearly there, we're just around the corner.
Finally, the team pulls into camp.
Appreciate it, Carl. I'll be able to get home a bit quicker and have a beer when we get home.
That's the plan. Cold shower and a colder beer. We try and help out as much as we can because the job is so demanding. It's a young man's job, that one. I think Buck just doesn't know that yet.
No.
With access cleared, the team can return to civilization. But wet season storms are causing havoc across the park. The influx of water at Kell's Crossing has caused the river to reach dangerous levels. Communities in Arnhem Land are now cut off. It hasn't stopped some locals from trying to get through, though. A car has been washed off and is precariously pinned on the rocks. The passengers have all been taken to safety, but as the current increases, the car is at risk of being swept away. The huge number of crocs in this stretch of river makes it a deadly place to park. The locals have no choice but to brave the river and try to salvage the vehicle themselves. The tow rope snaps under enormous pressure. As the driver tries to reconnect the rope, the current sweeps him off his feet. The crocs are getting interested. It's a close call. They decide to try from the other side. With each move, the car comes dangerously close to being swept downstream. It's no use. After hours of trying to free the vehicle, the water levels have risen, and the presence of large crocs makes it too risky to continue. Luckily, the locals look after each other around here, and a digger working nearby has come to lend a hand. The vehicle is free and the people are safe, but it's a harsh reminder of the dangers in braving the crossing. One day, the crocs may get lucky. 4 months ago, a croc from the same location was captured.
Good hit, brother.
And had a satellite transmitter attached to him. The rangers named him Nigel. Nigel No Mates. Gary and Andrew are now hoping to catch up with Nigel to find out what he's been up to. Nigel is providing them with a valuable insight into the private lives of Australia's top predator.
When he left the crossing area, he ended up at this creek here. As Nigel's travelling up, he's coming into contact with a lot of other crocs, some really big ones. Quite easily get killed or suffer serious injury. So he's got to keep his wits about him all the time.
A mob of flying foxes all along this stretch of mangrove creek here, and you'll get crocodiles during the day sitting up underneath the flying fox things, and they'll actually hit the tree with their tail and try and make the foxes fly into the water.
I just wonder if he's been here before. Like, you reckon, pretty obscure creek, went directly there, didn't muck around, hung around for months, so it's almost like, right, I'm getting the hell out of here, I'm going home. Yeah. The floodplains are just on beyond these mangroves here, so it's just a hop, skip and a jump. And at that time Nigel went up there, there would have been thousands of geese feeding on those water chestnuts. It's a pretty smart crop.
When Nigel pulled into this spot 4 months ago, it was the end of the dry. This was one of the last floodplains in Kakadu with water. Every bird for miles around would have taken refuge here. The place was teeming with life, and Nigel knew where to be. But as time moved on, the floodplain dried up, the birds moved off, and Nigel was forced to continue his journey. Gary and Andrew hoped to get near Nigel's last known location by nightfall. But as they hit the coast, a monsoon storm rolls in.
This is a typical sort of wet season day, eh? It's like real hot, muggy 1 minute, and then suddenly you're just freezing cold with a lot of rain, you know.
The crocodiles finding it a hard time, and the waves working hard to keep their head over the breakers.
It's going to be a testing one.
Mate, we got 20, 25 knot winds out there. It's not workable, we're not going to get the croc.
Conditions are too dangerous to continue. They struggle to a nearby beach to find shelter.
Yeah, just hold it there. Too rough. Thought it might have calmed down a bit. That's all right. It happens.
Okay.
Nigel will have to wait till tomorrow. A 100 kilometers away in rock country, the storm that's lashing the coast is just a distant light show. Ian Morris and Anne O'Day are out on a nocturnal wildlife survey. The bush is alive with the calls of hundreds of frogs.
Hello. The carpenter frog is very distinctive because it has a call that just sounds like somebody hammering wood. This is in the banjo frog family, unique to this sandstone country both here and in the Kimberley to our west.
29 frog species have been found in Kakadu, and Ian knows them all by their calls.
Every frog species has its own language, and we learn their calls very quickly because you need to be able to go into an area and do a quick survey of what's happening and who's there. We know all our frogs, all the known species. It's like members of your own family, you know their voice. Hear the noise like a little canary? It's the one we want. It's called the masked cave frog.
Oh yeah, I'd love to see one of those.
Described about the same time Kakadu was declared.
That spot where I saw that coal.
It's just coming up, yeah. Well worth a look.
Hear that? That's it. A marsh cave frog. There's one hopping towards me now. They have a call, a little trilling call, a little bit like a canary. One of our really unique frogs that's only found in this area, nowhere else in Australia. And they're just starting to get excited now for the first time this year.
Stone Country is renowned for what scientists call high levels of endemism. It means there's big mob of plants and animals that only exist here.
When you're calling, you're signalling to both the other males of your species and the females that you've got good breeding habitat around you, but you're also letting all your predators know where you are. We've got quite a few snakes that are frog specialists, and so that sound draws them in.
There's no shortage of creatures out tonight. Some of them unfamiliar, even to the experts.
Well, let's have a look in this little crevice. You can see a wet spot in there?
Yeah. Yep. Oh, look at him, he's beautiful. And he's got little tiny white speckles. It's not one of those.
He's Diplodactylus, but I don't know which Diplodactylus.
Well spotted.
Yeah.
If there's a smaller one, we didn't find it yet. By the way he walks like he's like a great big thing.
Komodo gecko. Kakadu, because of its size and the fact that it is a hotspot for endemic things, there's every likelihood there'll be more animals in almost every category yet to be described.
Kakadu gets under your skin, you know. Every place here just is different at all times of years. It can never have been to each place enough because it's not always the same. And there's so many places and so many things to find there.
Back on the coast, Gary and Andrew have woken from an uncomfortable night to good weather.
Oh yeah, this is what it should have been like last night. Look at that. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful.
They're back on the search for Nigel. Following the satellite data, they know he swam down the East Alligator River, then 30 kilometers along the coast and up into the South Alligator River. His signal has been stationary up a side creek for a month now. The lack of movement is cause for concern.
He's been in the general area there now for over a month and he hasn't seemed to move much. So that makes you think whether perhaps he's thrown the transmitter, or maybe he's got in a fight and ripped off. Crocodiles get beaten up and killed. You know, perhaps he's died.
Could be just a bag of bones out there with a transmitter on top of him, which wouldn't be unusual for a crocky's size. The bigger ones grabbed him. Not looking good, a lot of logs up here. Real thick, can't get through.
With no other option, they call in a helicopter working nearby to help search beyond the banks of the creek and up on the floodplain. If Nigel's dead, it should be easy to find him in his last known satellite position.
Oh, bugger.
Right? Yeah, right. It was a good approach.
Yeah, right.
So anyway, now we're just looking for a 4-metre crocodile.
Roger.
When you look at the map, it doesn't seem to be so much suitable habitat, but being here now, there's all these good freshwater swamps out here, which should be just prime location for him to sit in.
A lot of room for him to hide him.
Look at all the ducks down there. Probably geese earlier. Could be hunting birds, fish, all that. He's picked out a beautiful little home here. I didn't realise there's so much water up here. Why would you move, you know?
Yeah.
What the hell is that?
Have another look.
It's a croc, but no sign of a transmitter. They'll have to keep looking.
I guess he's still around here, eh? This is the location. This is exactly where his last GPS waypoint is. Oh, slide mark there, see?
Oh, yep. There's some movement down there.
Oh, there we go.
There
That's Nigel's, no doubt about that. I'm pretty happy with that.
In just a few seconds and a few fleeting photographs, in true croc style, Nigel disappeared underwater. Nigel is alive and well, and once again he's picked out the perfect spot to be at the right time of year.
There's a lot of water, it's perfect swamp, great habitat all around here. I say Nigel's a very happy croc.
Saltwater crocodile population in the Northern Territory is a success story. When you look at some of the depressing things that are happening overseas with tigers, lions, you know, habitat being blocked off by fences and paddocks, and crocodiles don't have that here. The special thing about Kakadu is it allows saltwater crocodiles to do their thing.
It's croc heaven in the wet season, but where Nigel moves next is anyone's guess. His journey is not an unusual one for a salty. Crocs have an uncanny ability to navigate over huge distances. No one really understands how they do it. One croc Gary tracked went on a 1,300-kilometre journey, only to return to where it was captured 2 years later. Nigel's travels aren't over yet. All going well, his transmitter will keep sending his position for another 12 months. The wet season is coming to an end. Park manager Sarah Kerrin is up surveying Kakadu in preparation for the coming tourist season.
I spend a lot of my time in front of a computer and a desk, so to come and fly over the park is really, really appreciated. One of the most amazing sights, I think, in Australia and in possibly the world. The park's joint managed with the traditional owners, and there's around about 13 clans in this area. The land itself is crisscrossed and dotted with dreaming trails and significant sites. It's part of their cultural heritage. It provides food, it provides resources, I guess the foundation for their culture. It's a privilege to be able to work in a place like Kakadu, and also to have developed the relationships that I've developed with the traditional owners whose land this is.
The traditional owners of Kakadu still live in the park. Some in Jabiru, others on outstations. They maintain a deep connection to the place and continue to pass on their culture and knowledge to younger generations.
We were born in this country and we're certainly going to be buried in it.
They are custodians of an intimate understanding of Australia's environment. One that has been accumulated over tens of thousands of years. We, the Aboriginal people of Australia, have always considered ourselves an indivisible part of the natural world. Our greatest law is to look after country, the animals and the plants we share it with. All of Australia was like this once, but there's not many places like this now. Kakadu is a wild land, and now, more than ever, it's a land worth protecting for generations to come.